All right. Well, first off, thanks to our students and our fans who came out. Uh, again, it's always good when you get a win, and these are the games that you're expected to win. We got off to a little bit of a slow start. I thought offensively we left some explosive plays on the field. I think we dropped like 3 or 4 post routes in the first half, but then in the second half we got in a bit of a rhythm. And our best offensive players made plays. So, Damon Claiborne had a big game for us. Taylor Marin had a really big game for us, and the punt return really kind of broke the game open. I thought that was a huge, momentum-changing play. It was great to see Donovan Green get a touchdown and then the big catch he made down the sidelines. On defense, we gave up a lot of rushing yards. I thought we missed a lot of tackles, which sometimes happens game one. That's something we got to get cleaned up, but the ball didn't get over our head. The positive is we didn't turn it over on offense. The negative is we didn't get it turned over on defense. So it's like a lot of game ones. There's a lot to clean up, a lot of things we got to get better at. And really with this football team, our commitment to get better, I think will really determine what type of year we have. I think North Carolina A&T is a very improved team. That team they put out there was a lot better than the team we saw in film last year, and I think Coach Brown and his staff are on the right track. But again, I wish we had started faster, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to face a little adversity like that and bounce back from it. Fire away. I mean, yeah, in some ways, I don't know if it was fair to Michael that some of those balls got dropped on him, right? If we catch. So the plan was that we were going to give Michael the first 2 to 3 series and then give Hank the next 2 to 3. And then what happened was they drained so much time. And, the last 2 drives of the half, Hank led us on a touchdown and a field goal drive. And, so we thought we should give him the start in the second half, and then every drive we scored, and then we wanted to get Michael in there with about, 8 or 7 minutes left, and then we just drained so much clock. So we wanted to get Michael back in the second half and give him playing time. And, if you look at the game, they had the ball for 36 minutes. So, and to me the good thing is we didn't give up, the balls over our head, but we gave up a lot of yardage and missed a lot of tackles. And, when you're an FCS team playing up, that's what they do. Norfolk did that a few years ago against us, and they did a good job playing keep away. But again, in the second half, we were a lot more efficient on offense.
Does that mean it's still an open question as to who the starter
Well, Tony, come on. You think I'm going to come into a press conference after a game and announce what we're going to do? Yeah, it's a lot of things I try that don't work. So I knew you'd ask the question, though. Yeah, it's just great to see him. He's a difference maker when he's healthy. And even the screen he ran for the touchdown, like the cool thing now is we have those iPads so we can watch the video. He broke 3 tackles. He's a grown, strong, fast man. And when he's out there and he's healthy, he's one of our difference makers. And, if we're going to have a good season this year, Damon Claiborne is going to have 100-yard rushing games, and Taylor Marin and Donovan Green are going to have 100-yard receiving games. And, we were only allowed to play Donovan, about 20. We were only allowed to play him 20 plays today and see how he did, and he came out of it healthy. And so hopefully next week, we'll get him for more of the game. But, Damon ran for 135, and Taylor had 100 yards receiving. And if Donovan gets a full game, he had 72 yards in a limited action. The other guy I was really impressed with today was Deuce. When he gets out there, the moment's not too big for him. He really doesn't. And some of those other receivers got out there, and it's the first time they played, and they struggled a little bit. I think Michael will be better next week because of this week. It was good to see Walker respond. he dropped the one, but then he came back and had a few nice catches. That one on the sidelines was a beautiful catch. It was good to see Horatio make the play on the slant and get up the field. So, again, I mean, you play these games and you're expected to win them, and you're expected to win them by a lot. And sometimes you come out of it and you never feel as good as you'd like to, but they have good players too, and their guys are on scholarship. And we, responded well in the second half. It was an uneasy feeling halfway through the second quarter, but that's kind of every game.
Dave, clearly to have the season you want, you're going to need to build some depth across the field, right? It seemed like in the second half, your twos on the defensive line, really struggled kind of stopping that run game. You had to bring your ones back in to ultimately get the stop and avoid more points getting on the board. Where do you kind of see that unit and what were you trying to look for there?
I mean, we were committed to playing a lot of players today. Like, we went into this game saying if we're going to have a good year, we're going to have to build depth. So we were committed to playing 5 or 6 defensive ends and 5 tackles and a bunch of corners and a bunch of receivers and 2 different tight ends. And if we had Michael Throg, would play a third. And so I just think we went into this game saying, regardless of the score, that we have to play a bunch of people so that they get game action. And so we're not sticking them out there for the first time in the third quarter against Virginia or Ole Miss. And we just we had to live with their mistakes, and they made mistakes. Micah Mays a few times, ran the wrong route and didn't go the right way, and he'll be better next week because of it. I always remember 2016 when we played Tulane. Those receivers were a mess, and they turned out to be pretty good players. And the first time guys get in games, they're going to have a little anxiety and butterflies, and it's different than practice. And again, hopefully they'll be better for it, and hopefully we'll be better for it. But it gets cranked up here pretty quickly.
So the value is in giving them that experience now, showing the tape, but learning from it.
Yeah, and it's only valuable if they actually learn from it. I mean, that's, again, I've said to you what I've told the team, right? I mean, I've had teams that the year starts and it's going to be a long year. And I've had teams, if I could just get them the dress and the bus to show up, we were probably going to win 9 games. And then there's a lot of teams that are in between. This team's in between. This team, if they stick together and work hard and improve and play clean football and do little things right, I think we have a chance to have a good season. And if we don't do those things and we don't take those things to heart, it can be a hard year. And time will tell. So we'll have a really, really good test a week from Saturday when Virginia comes in here.
You had 5 penalties. One of them was Hanks. The other 4 were on the offensive line. Does that feel a little bit like what you dealt with last year?
Yeah, it bothers me. I mean, last year we had 23 false starts on offense, and one of our goals was to not have any today. So, and I always do too, Eric. Every time I sneeze, Eric goes, and whatever it is, I always sneeze twice. Yeah, that bothers me. And that's one of us cost, Hanks cost us a touchdown. And then, the other one really put us in a 3rd and long. And we had, I knew we had 3. I guess we had 4. So, yeah, one of our goals was to play clean. And we can't have that. And, when you play Virginia and Ole Miss and some of the other people on our schedule, 3rd and 8's going to be a tough down.
Dave, was there anything about his performance tonight that impressed you?
He played clean. He got out there, and when he moved the team. And again, fairness to Michael, I think if that one post ball gets caught, there's probably a whole different feeling about it. But, we told them that they would play equal time in the first half. And then, again, I just thought that Hank moved the team at the end of the first half, led us to a touchdown. We had a good 2-minute drive, and I gave him the start in the second half. And just the reps and the rotation got a little out of whack because of the punt return. And we didn't stop there. They made a lot of first downs. How many did they make? 22? They held the ball for 36 minutes. So I'm sure there's a lot of guys on offense that Wish they'd have got more time and more carries, but that happens. You have games like that.
Dave, Claiborne makes his first start for you guys. Talk about embracing that role, being the lead running back. He had a couple really nice runs. How do you feel like he played, and obviously being one of the leaders on this offense?
I mean, when he's healthy, he's a stud. He's a difference maker. He's an impact player, and I mean he's got to be if we're going to win this year, he's got to rack up a lot of 100-yard games and make a lot of big plays, and that's just again the nature of college football. Is we had two good backs last year, and we kind of committed to DeMond as being the starter, and so the other guy kind of decided that he was going to leave. And fortunately, we have Tate Carney, and Ty Clark I think is going to be a good player. I wish we could have played him a little bit more. It would have been nice to get him a little bit more game action, but when we put our second defense out there, they just kind of marched down the field, and they didn't score, but they took up a lot of time. I mean, when we scored the last touchdown with 5:22 back, I was hoping we could get the ball back with like 3 minutes and let some of those guys play. But, it's your best players got to play well to beat good teams. And so when I look at the stat line today, I'm saying if we're going to win against good competition, DeMond's going to have games like that. Taylor, Donnie, Deuce, our playmakers are going to have to make plays.
You guys good? All right.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead. Anything else? All right. Thanks for being here.